Hey, he likes our own show. Welcome to another hour of Tampa Fishing Outfitters live fish report.
Or 2 or 3 or 4. You never know
how long it's going to be. But I'm Captain Ric Liles with Captain Jason Prieto.
Captain who?
Jason Prieto. And
Captain what?
Our main man Travis is out tonight. He's test running a boat for his big tournament in Louisiana this coming week. So he had permission to miss.
And you know what?
Which is pretty easy to get with this gang. Cause
yeah.
I missed last week. But anyway, welcome. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Hopefully we can bring you some entertainment and some good fishing information. And hopefully you can interact and do the same for us. So
yeah, and for all you guys busting my chops here, the show's just running, but I'm running the show here, and
he's got it.
We're working through it.
He's got it.
I mean, we're working through it here. So
I feel like I'm sitting next to Bill Gates.
Yeah, don't go that far. Don't. Mark, how you doing, buddy? And for all you guys out there watching the show, if y'all want to share our show to your friends, to your groups, share away.
Yeah, please share.
We're shareable people.
That helps us if y'all share.
We're trying to take this worldwide. We need your help.
The bigger our base gets, the better for everyone. But anyway, haven't seen you on the water in a couple weeks. We've been fishing opposite ends of the bay.
That's good for the listeners.
And
they get a report
I've got the north end sewed up here the last 2 weeks. And I know you've been doing some tarpon and fishing farther south, but it'd be interesting to know what I'm going back to next week.
Well, I can tell you this. I just lifted my left leg and my back hurt. So bait's been kind of tough.
Well, bait up on the north end has not been too bad. So
yeah, you might want to stay up there.
Yeah.
Fishing's been good, Rick. It's been good. It's been different. It's been all over the place, which the weather's been all over the place. We've got some good tarpon schools that I haven't been able to fish. Last Sunday we flew 7 fish.
Oh, the wind's been crazy.
And I've tried it. Like it's like you have an epic tarpon day in the middle of the summer, and then you can't do it for a week later. It's like
if you can tarpon fish in what we've had,
I tried.
No
success.
You're a man's man. So yeah, that's it's been some pretty brutal weather. We're kind of the weather for the last week and a half. If you're watching this and you're not in the area, because I know we do have a lot of viewers and listeners that are not local here, but if you're not local here, our weather here it's just been backwards to what it normally is this time of year. We've been getting a lot of rain in the morning and not so much in the afternoon, but a lot of wind. The winds have been horrendous.
West,
southwest and west winds, and it's just
the worst direction for the South Shore.
It just cranks coming up the bay, and it makes things difficult. And then when you get that added with an outgoing tide, which if you're not what'd you do? Okay.
We're still alive.
If you're if you have an outgoing, we can't see, so I don't there. We're
no clue.
we're back. Okay.
Wow.
But anyway, what I was saying is if you fish a lot, you probably know this. If you don't, this is something good to know. But if you have
Somebody's got to be messing with us. At
somebody's
times.
somebody's messing
I think
with
Travis has got a remote.
it. He might.
He's got us on Wi-Fi.
Thanks,
and he's
Travis.
Laughing.
But if the wind and current start, if they're going opposite, you're going to build a pretty good friction up on the water, and that's when you really get your big breakers and your bigger waves. If you got strong winds and the tide's running with the current or with the wind, you'll still build some bigger waves, but they'll a lot of times be more swelly and not, if that's even a word, and not breaking over quite as much. They're not cresting. So what we've had is we've had this wind out of the southwest pushing up into the bay, and as soon as that tide starts rolling out, it just gets nasty. I mean, almost. Well, it ain't almost. It's unsafe to be on the water out there.
Bob, that's a good area with this wind that we have. I would say to fish would be Double Branch. It's pretty protected with the west.
Yes.
Good point. I don't fish up there.
Scroll this down some. It's
easy now.
I know. I'm past my pay grade here. What do you guys pay for?
You're gonna find Pandora on there easy.
I know. Got to hook me up with Pandora here, but I haven't fished, Bob. I haven't been all the way up to Double Branch. I've stayed. The farthest north that I've been is right there around the Hyatt, and that hasn't been as good. But in there around Colbreth has been decent, and then Weedon Island, of course. We've caught a lot of fish at Weedon Island this week, and then out in the middle grounds we've caught a lot of fish. When the wind would let you get there, it's like when the rain comes, it gets windy, and then it leaves, and then you can get out there. We fished there for about an hour and a half today at the very end of the trip, and did very well. Caught a lot of trout. Most of the trout were under slot, but did catch a lot of trout. And I'm doing the kids clinic this week. It's the Florida Fantasy Fish Camp, and if anybody out there's got kids that have a love for fishing, you ought to check it out. Hope you guys don't care if I plug this a little bit.
Not at all.
Parker Rabbo puts the thing together. It's Florida Fantasy Fish Camp, and kids come. It's Monday through Friday. They show up at 9. I think they go home at 3. But they fish from 9 to 1 every day, so they're getting 5 fishing trips with 3 other kids, and then when they come in the afternoons, they do a catfish derby and casting class and knot tying and all that kind of stuff, and they feed them lunch. And I'm going to quote a price, and I'm not quite sure.
I was going to ask you what was the cost on that.
I don't know for sure, but I think I heard one of the kids say it was $700.
For 5 fishing trips?
So that's not.
Wow,
that's for the whole week. That's from 9 till
good deal.
3. $700 per kid.
I like how you getting the kids involved in fishing. And I tell you, Rick, our industry, me and you been guiding going on 15 years, both of us. We're right at the same time starting, and man, our industry has blown up.
It's changed for sure.
And some of it comes with some bad, comes with some baggage, and it comes with a lot of good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of good is the next generation is really into fishing. One of the links I think that could be tweaked is catching fish and the Instagram and holding the photos up. That's all great, but teaching them the other side of fishing, like respecting the water and how to handle fish and how to keep our fishing good. And I think with this camp, that teaches them the other stuff.
Yes, and a lot of that falls back on whose boat the kids are on, but because for us, we all have a different level of respect for the fishery. Some captains have more than others. we got a bozo down in South Shore that I mean he don't respect nothing.
But he
And
doesn't even do that fish camp you're talking
no,
about.
he don't do it. No, absolutely not. The kids would run him off. But anyway, what I like about it is I got the same kids all week, so
You get to build a relationship with them.
you do, and I get to if you got the same kids all week. What I like about it is with the same kids all week, if you care, and I think most captains do, that do this. If you care, you can see where the needs are with each of these kids. And like I got a kid that Monday he couldn't cast it the length of this table.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something that if he was going to be a fisherman, he was going to need some help on. And man, we got that kid making 50-foot casts now.
Well, that's good. And it's just like no different in sports. Some people are going to pick up. We're still good, Rick.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Never seen that problem before, but hey, it's
Is
first
it-
for everything, ain't it?
I'm good with it. Let's roll.
But people are going to learn at different speeds. Some people pick right up on it. Other kids are going to. It takes a little while, but the important thing is they're involved and they like it. When they get off the boat, they like it, and it gets them into fishing early, and it's something else for kids to do that's going to keep them out of trouble pretty much.
Bananas. Thanks, John. But you're right, and I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed the last 2 weeks, because I'm not a regular on this fish camp. I'm a kind of a substitute, and I usually do 2 or 3 weeks a year with them. And but what I have noticed, and I really noticed it this year more than in the past, but the kids are really patient and helpful with each other.
Yeah.
Because you get 4, 9 to 12-year-olds on a boat, you're going to have tangled lines, and you're going to have issues that I don't mean like fighting issues, but just fishing issues.
Right.
And man, these kids are really, really good about helping each other. And I don't think I would have been that way so much as a kid. I think I might have been a little shorter temper or shorter patience or whatever.
Fish.
But it's like yesterday we had probably the biggest trout on that's probably I've seen in a couple weeks.
Right.
Get him right to the boat, and you know how you never lift the trout out of the water because they're soft mouth. The kid's that's got the fish on has got the fish to the boat. The kid standing next to him grabs the rod and lifts it up. Wasn't even he's a bystander watching this, and he grabs it and lifts it up. Well, it shook off. It was probably a 22-inch trout, and I'm just expecting the kid that had caught the fish to erupt.
Right.
And he was like, no big deal. We got to see him. I'm like, wow. We're not kin. we have not the same bloodline. But anyway, that's I don't want to keep talking about the fish camp, but it is good if you got kids that like to fish and
I'm
and got some expendable money. I think it's a good deal for the money. The kids seem to be happy, and
let me ask you this, Rick. Ty, what's up, buddy? Somebody asked about clothing lines. Blue Water Gear is a great clothing line. There's a bunch of clothing lines nowadays. Blue Water Gear does some giveaways on the show with us. Time to time, they have some nice new line of clothes.
I wear a lot of FUBU stuff.
FUBU. You look a FUBU type of guy. So you can check them out. It's one that pops off the top of my head. Hook's got some cool stuff. I know there's a couple others, but do the kids, in the most part, what age group are they at? Are they teens?
Well,
all over the place.
yes. I think he tries to do it where, and maybe we ought to get Parker to come in and be a guest one night.
Sure.
That would be good. But I think he tries to do, because there's like 12 camps during the year.
Right.
During the summer. And I think what he tries to do is try to group the ages for the weeks. This week, the Screaming Sea Weasel's got 10 to 12-year-olds on my boat. So they're all right there. I do know there's like a 7 or 8-year-old in the camp.
Right.
And I know there was a kid that looked to be about 13 or 14 in the camp. So he tries to keep the ages kind of close, I believe. Don't know that for sure, but it just seems like they're.
Well, that makes sense.
One week you'll have a bunch of young ones, and then one week you'll have a bunch. And one thing I do know he does is he tries to put an older kid with a younger kid on the boat. He kind of gives them a little bit of responsibility to say, hey, you know what? You're a 13-year-old. This is a 7-year-old. Mentor a little.
Yeah, well, that's
show them how a 12-year-old, 13-year-old is supposed to act.
I've got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old daughter, and I mean the 10-year-old does help out at times, but that's a yeah.
Your 5-year-old is a cannon.
Yeah, she is, and you know what? The 10-year-old throws the cannon at her. Everyone, I had to. She thinks she's from big sister to mom. She laid a whooping on the 5-year-old last night. I had to step in and kind of,
referee.
I kind of said, look, you don't do that. You come get us. But, the big age difference like that can be tough with kids because it's just a teenager is going to be at a different learning curve or learning level. Even if they're rookies, they're going to learn faster just because they're older and skill set's going to be a little bit better overall. But I think it's a good thing. It sounds like he's putting it good together. And it's good to see kids fishing. It really is, especially when they draw interest. When it gets tough on charters, when you have kids that have zero interest.
No, that's tough.
And
all these kids want to be there for sure. I asked I got one kid on the boat from North Carolina, and I think I told you this on the way up here. I asked him, I said, how did you find out about this camp? And he said, I went online and looked up fishing camps.
Yeah.
I guess, and then he pursued it. I'm assuming that.
He did, not his parents?
Well, I'm sure they both did.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that it's even all the more better if he put the effort into.
But and he's a good fisherman. I mean, he's a little bit ahead of everybody else. And then last week I had 2 kids that were phenomenal. I mean, they've fished better than most adults I have on the boat.
That's
and they're
awesome.
12 years old. I mean, they were absolutely impressive. But so what his parents did is his parents signed him up for this fish camp. They came down with him. He's doing the fish camp during the week, and then they're out doing what they're sightseeing and going to museums and the beach or whatever the parents want to do.
That's cool.
Yeah, they've just made a family vacation around it.
So maybe the parents weren't into fishing, and they.
No, he said his dad is, but.
Well, from a financial standpoint, that's a lot cheaper too.
Yeah.
Doing, 4 charters. One of us is going to run you. That's going to easily be over $2,000 for 4
absolutely.
hours.
Yeah.
So with that camp, it makes it a little bit more. Who's got the cheap charter going out Saturday morning for 2? Mike, I'm going to say this, and don't take it the wrong way. Cheap and charter don't go together too well. Mike, rates typically start around $425 and go up. I'm booked on Saturday.
I'm out of town on Saturday.
But
going to
Travis
the farm.
is he out of town?
Travis is out of town.
You can give me a call. We'll get it worked out. I guess if you're out of town, I'll take it. 813-727-9890. But Ray, how you doing, buddy? Ray is a good customer. I've been going for years. But anyhow, it's fishing. We don't want to deter like fishing's been bad. It's just been tough.
It's been a challenge. It's not been comfortable. How's
right,
that?
And it's just
because
the
best way to put it.
Yeah, fishing's been good. I tell you. So last week we had a really good customer, really avid fisherman. You know I had because you had him on your boat. At the same time, his expectations are pretty
high.
Pretty high, and he's okay with taking a chance, which I'm okay with. But you know how that goes. You want to catch fish, but then let's go left field and go juvenile tarpon or something like that. And we were dealt with show up at the dock, got a double, and fishing's cheap. Yeah, Mike, roll with it, brother. Roll with it. If she's watching, fishing's real cheap. Just let them get into it. You're good. Hey, a charter is cheap compared to a boat price. Just go on Boat Trader.
Yeah, boat payments.
That charter will seem real cheap. Yeah. Don't forget about the fuel maintenance.
And all the tackle.
But so we started our day off with rain, and I looked at Pedro. And I was like, hey, man, what I'm kind of – you want to cancel? I'm okay. Been getting rain on every day. Let's go. Like he comes out here just to fish. And they're like, we got our rain jackets. I'm like, all right, let's load them up. Go out there, get our bait. Bait was pretty easy, and so I said, let's go bank some bushes, try to get some reds, which has been tough, and try to get some snook. And so we're kind of limited. I can't do a whole lot of open water, and man, I'm hitting everything.
At least we've had a little water in the mornings to
deal
with. I mean, that's been the bright side of it.
Yes. So we start hitting our snook. I mean, I'm picking a snook here. I mean, it's brutal. And I finally, when I have a day like that, I'm going, okay, we've got these crazy weather patterns where the barometer's up, down. It's just confusing to the fish, confusing to me. I looked at Pedro. I said, this ain't working. I've hit like 7 spots that should be good, and it ain't good.
All right.
Let's go try to see if we can get anchored up and do some grouper digging. And there was one spot that I can get inside of the wind. I mean, we're talking 4-footers solid on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And my theory is with chartering is go with plan A, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, don't get stuck on one thing.
Right, see what sticks.
And if everything sucks, do a 180-degree turn and go backwards.
Yeah.
And typically that works.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, we ended up getting 8 or 9 grouper inshore. We had a 28, a 26, 25s,
That's
22s.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and we lost a few. I'm talking like good ones. And so it made the day because the inshore bite. We got a few. We got 1 or 2 reds early, but they were small, nothing to brag about. Which anything's good with redfish. So, it's been different. Like
I sent you guys a picture of a redfish last week and said, "Can you help me identify this fish?" And
yeah,
you
I
guys
forgot.
you never responded.
Well,
it was
I
a
was probably
joke.
getting wind blown.
It was a
yeah,
joke.
that was a nice redfish, by the way.
Yeah, it was, but I was like, first redfish I've caught in 2 weeks. What is it?
Yeah, I saw it and I just forgot to respond. But so it's been all over the place. It's not bad. You know what? I have noticed not a lot of redfish, but I've been catching some redfish. So I think we're getting to that usually August, September is.
We might start seeing some roll in out of the
I
Gulf
hope
here
so.
soon.
I do. I'm starting to see like in the bushes and stuff. We're catching a few. Not a lot. I'm talking like 2 or 3. We caught 4 the other day.
Yeah.
Some upper slots. And I've been releasing them all. Been releasing them all. Been trying to talk customers into it just because it's been kind of crazy with our redfish the last couple years, 3 or 4 years. But so it's been good. It's just been a battle with the winds, and then I heard the best weather report the other day, Rick. I'm watching the weather. I'm trying to figure it out. The guy goes, first time I think I've ever heard the weather guy leave it up in the air. He goes, all I can tell you, I really don't know. It's going to rain somewhere tomorrow, and you might get rained on. I just can't tell you when or how much.
Wow.
And I go,
Appreciate the honesty.
you the man.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard that. Usually they're bragging about their 3D technology and the storm. They're looking inside the storm cell upside down and Ray, give me a buzz, man. November is good. Fishing in November. Snook, redfish, trout.
Love it. Come
Snook,
on, Ray.
Redfish, trout, repeat. Ray, it's awesome. River system starts kicking off. Our river fishing gets good. If everything goes typical, which this year has been
starting to see a few fronts, so the fish a lot of times the fish are in transition.
Yep.
But as they're in transition, they're also starting to concentrate. You're getting them, where a pass might have, 10 snook 2 weeks ago. If they're in transition, that may be a spot where they're going to hang and wait to see what the weather's going to do. There may be, 50 snook there now.
Ray, and I'll get to your question here, Joseph, in a minute. Ray, to give you an idea, weather is pretty good. I'm going to go on a limb and say November is one of the best months to fish for me.
Absolutely.
A lot of fish. You got some fronts to cool things down to trigger them fish, but not too many.
And it's comfortable.
December is also a great month, but you start getting early winter.
You start getting the fronts.
You get slammed. I've ran 28 trips in December, and I've ran 12.
Yeah.
And it's kind of January's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the same with January. I've ran 3 trips in January, and that was 2010 because I canceled so many. I've stacked them up in January when we had warm winters.
That was bad.
Ray, give me a buzz, man. November's a great month to fish. We'll put you on them. How far out to get grouper in Tampa? We got grouper all over in Tampa Bay. It's work. I'm going to put this out there. I don't troll for grouper. Trolling works. Great technique. My personal opinion, I don't feel like I'm fishing when I'm trolling for grouper in Tampa Bay. I mean, you're just dragging a lure, and then the rod's bent double over, reel it in. That's
You're gonna put me to sleep talking about trolling.
yeah. It works. Very
It works. I know.
very productive if you want to catch fish. We were in 15 foot of water fishing some edges, so it just depends. The water depth on average depth in Tampa Bay is only 12 foot, and we're fishing inside Tampa Bay, so you're somewhere between 12 and 25 foot on water depths. Bait of choice.
Well, for grouper now, you can also get on the edges of the ship's channel.
Yeah, different spots. What people don't realize is that ship channel is dredged, and when they dredge that, there's little indentions that where maybe they hit rock, had to go around it a little bit. Good
or
line
a big
rock
chunk
bottom.
of rock come out.
Yep, or big chunk of rock come out, and a lot of times them ships are just about dragging bottom, if not. So there's a lot of stuff that changes out there. And with the technology, which Rick, I don't think you're up to the technology on the bottom.
Yeah, the
machine,
technology didn't mean that. We're not. There's not a lot there.
Using the 3D imaging that they have out now, Simrad's got a great unit. Lowrance, with your side imaging, really helps you find this stuff. You can actually identify what's down there. Waste a lot of fuel trolling, yes, and you also put a lot of hours in your motor, which to me, I flip my motors, so that's important, even though they're easy hours. So yeah, I straight up anchor and fish. And the other thing that's made it easy, and Rick, you're not on this yet, is we were talking this on the way how dependent I am. I use a Rodan GPS trolling motor, and you basically hit a button and hold you. I have gotten to be ridiculously dependent on that for snapper and grouper. Like, I mean, at one point this year, my anchor had mold on it. Like, I opened the hatch, and I'm like, well, I got
terrible.
Yeah, so but it makes it easier because it takes a little bit of guesswork. Some of these spots that I fish for snappers, some areas, like a couple areas we all fish that are a broad wreck where you can be off and they're going to come because there's a lot of rock. There's other areas that the rock is 10 by 10, and if you're off of it,
right,
you're off of it. And the other problem is sometimes anchoring up on the edge of the shipping channel can be tough because of the ledge. And so a lot of times, back in even fishing before the trolling motors, I would throw a jug, then you got to play the wind, play the current, line your compass up, throw your anchor. I don't throw a jug. I don't open my anchor hatch. I put my trolling motor down, and I get on my motor, and I know that I got a 10-foot give. What that means is, I'm going to show you right here. If this is the ledge and this is my boat, I'm going to hit my anchor button on the trolling motor about here, so by the time it kicks in, I'm over top of the ledge. So basically, I just watch my bottom machine, I mark it, hit anchor. The best thing about the Rodan, and I'm not sure about the other trolling motors, if I'm 5 foot off, I feel like I'm 5 foot too far back, I hit the up button once in anchor mode, automatically shoots me 5 foot and stops. If I need to go another 5 foot, I hit 5 foot. If I need to go 5 foot to the left, 5 foot to the right. So the technology, it's made it more efficient too. I don't have to spend 30 minutes trying to set on this one rock to anchor.
right.
Todd Fouché, and somebody's asked what kind of bait. Cut bait works good. Greenbacks work good. This weekend we did good with pinfish. We wrecked them on the pinfish. That was key. I'm not using any weight too. So I think that is key too. This TV's driving me nuts. I'm not sure what happened there. But so anyhow, that's been the key with shallow water grouper fishing is fun, man. We were using 60-pound mainline braid with 80-pound leaders, 7/0 hooks, and I mean, I enjoy it. Like, I like grouper fishing in the bay just because it's. A lot of people think. I remember when I was a kid, my stepdad, we had it was a 23-foot, but it was an offshore style boat. It's not big now, but boats 23 foot back in the day was big.
Sure
Deep V, it was single engine. We'd run 30 miles out. And I catch grouper in the bay now that are bigger than we did running 30 miles out. And every time I catch big grouper in the bay, I send it to my stepdad, caught this in 15 foot of water, and he just goes, wow. Like, because I remember the amount of fuel and effort that we used to do.
You got a question there. Angelo says, can you recommend a good machine for my boat that's easy to understand? I have a Lowrance 5 that came when I bought the boat.
Yes, so Angelo.
I can't believe you didn't ask me that, Angelo.
Rick. Everybody knows your limitations, Rick. Angelo, so I'm a Simrad Lowrance guy. They're good units. Simrad and Lowrance are the same company. Simrad is basically like the Cadillac to Chevy. Both are about the same. I will tell you this. Go to a full touchscreen. not partial touchscreen, full touchscreen unit, and it's very user friendly. You know, the good thing about the units now, Rick, is they make, if you go with I'll tell you a good unit that's relatively cheaper, is they've just released the Simrad Go units. They make a Go 5, a Go 7, a Go 9, a Go 12, and I think a Go 16. That would be obviously the size of the unit is the number. But the good thing about the units, Rick, is you can buy.
I'm just kidding, Angelo.
He's so untechnical. We make fun of him all the time.
You don't want my advice on anything electronic.
Yeah, you might have to go on eBay and go in the antique section. But Angelo, what it is, the full touch has made things a lot simpler. And we're gonna convert Rick over from the knee knocker trolling motor. It's gonna happen. That thing's eventually gonna fail.
I don't know.
Oh man, I can't wait. You're gonna be so excited. It'd be like when you got them power poles, the blades. Remember?
Yeah.
How excited you were?
I was. I fought it, but it was a good move.
But the so the Go series, that you got the Evo series Simrad. So Evos are almost double the cost. If you look at the Go series, and I'm just going to talk Simrad because I know Simrad, and Travis bought one of these, it looks almost identical except for it doesn't have the knob. Here's the techie part about the Go series versus the Evo series that matters to me, that I think is the biggest thing. The Evo series is a lot more money, but you can network through your Ethernet cable. What that means is you can connect. If you have, like I have an upper station unit, I got a 7-inch, I got a 12-inch below. So they network together. So which means I don't have to run separate transducers for the units.
Okay.
Because it reads through
sense.
you connect all your stuff to your lower unit, then you run an Ethernet. And the Ethernet cable does not exist on the Go unit. Now, they can network through the NEMA 2000.
He needs simple. NEMA 2000.
They're all simple. Yeah, they're all the same. If you go to West Marine and go look at a Go 5 and a Go 12. The good thing about the units now, the technology is all the same. You're just really paying for the screen size. Like, all the features are pretty much in there. But basically, the Go series, you can only run one transducer, where I run two. So that's the big difference that you need to know. If you turn the Go series of Simrad on and you turn the Evo on and go to West Marine, they got them on display, you're going to look at it and go, what's the difference?
Right. Well,
there
Manuel
is
says
some
they
differences.
have a how-to video there at West Marine.
Yeah, and if any of them guys should know, but just go into the unit. It's very user-friendly. It's very easy. I'm a don't read the book, figure it out, which is kind of bad sometimes. I like to mess with stuff till I figure it out. And you can do it with the touch. I used Lowrance for years, and they had the HDS series that were like, they were good, but they were a little confusing. A lot of buttons on there, and once you figured it out, you're good. When they went to touchscreen, I grabbed the unit, I go, it is night and day on, like, you know, you got one menu button, and then you just go in, you hit the menu button, and it just pulls up like an app on your phone. You want tides, you want chart, you want full screen, you want split screen. So it's easy. It's very easy. Check out the Simrad. Lowrance is going to be the same software, very similar. If you go to Garmin, I can't help you. I know that.
That's what I got is a Garmin, and but I have a very simple unit.
You have a really old unit, right? It's like a 182. Is it
a 50S? It's geez,
before touchscreen.
Yeah, it's like 5 years old.
Yeah,
but it's it's only 7-inch. It's not a touchscreen. I like it because if I get in there and get lost, I can just keep hitting back.
If you can run that,
and
Rick,
it's back to.
You can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But the touchscreen's easier. It really is. There's more stuff, but it's just laid out nicer. Like it's better than the buttons. The buttons were way harder. I had both, and if your unit's 5 years old, that's kind of when they started making that transition.
Yeah,
you're going full.
Well, mine's
touchscreen.
pretty user friendly. I mean, it is, and I don't use it for nowhere near what the capabilities are.
None of us do.
I mean,
none of us do.
But it does what I need it to do.
Angelo, is your HDS series your 5? Is it at touchscreen? I'm gonna say that it's not. When you go touchscreen, if you can run that unit, way easier. I mean, it's gonna be night and day. If you want to go Lowrance, you can. I like the look when you go into West Marine. I like the look of the Simrad. It looks like a TV screen. Flush mount. There's no edges. Lowrance is great. The same software, same company. But the only downside to the newer units, and it's no different than phones and everything else out there, they constantly have updates. So you have to constantly. So like the Go series, that's the other thing is you have to take an SD card, plug it into your computer, download the update, and then you got to put it into your machine, and then it automatically updates the machine. Where like the Evo 3 series, you can connect it on the hotspot on your phone or Wi-Fi, and it connects through the internet because it actually has a server. I don't know what you want to call that, but Rob, I don't know about the buyback program. I'm not real sure about that, but it sounds like it's something to check into. But I don't know a lot about Garmin. I know that I used one of the Jason Thompson's got a Garmin, and it could be I'm not used to it. It was hard to use. Like I was on his boat, I couldn't figure it out.
Really?
And he had like his unit, and I'm sure he knows how to use it, but it was like it has buttons and touchscreen, and it was just a lot going on. I don't know. I had a hard time with it, but I'm not a Garmin guy. And I tell you who's come out with some pretty nice stuff too and it blows my mind. But the Humminbird, I haven't used one, but their new yeah. I mean, you think Humminbird when I was a kid, you thought cheap thing at Walmart in the corner. But they have really released some good technology, and Ray Marine's got some.
And they were a lot of freshwater. Humminbird did a lot of freshwater stuff.
Yeah,
God?
Somebody out there, if you can comment and tell me what the new Humminbird technology they got out. Can't remember the name of it, their units, but it's pretty nice stuff. But all of them are pretty comparable, I think. Just a matter of who's got. I think right now West Marine's got rebates on the Simrad Go series. Because I had one of my neighbors has asked me what unit to buy. And I said, go with the Simrad Go, and I showed it to him. And I walked in West Marine like 3 days later, and there he was buying one.
Really?
So, yeah. He went down. I said, go down there. I said, Helix. There you go, Rob. The Helix units. So, they're all kind of fighting the same technology and trying to one-up each other. But I think they all build decent units, and it's just a matter of finding out what you like. But that Simrad Go series, like, it's so much cheaper than the regular one. For like somebody that has a single station application, it's a no-brainer. Really is. And I thought when Travis bought that unit, because I have the more expensive one because I network, and I said, let me go there and check it out on your boat. I hit the power button, like the software and the setup is exactly the same. There's just some different stuff in the unit, but it's fast, it runs, it does good. Yes, Nick, you're right. Quality of transducer is very important, as is the head unit. He's very, very good point. So I'll tell you what I went through, Nick, and I don't know what unit he's running a step haul as well. I went to a B60 through haul transducer from an in-haul, and what a difference. I hate transom mount transducers. They spray water on your cowling.
Right.
I have to have one. I'm running two transducers, so I'm running a regular standard transducer, and I have my 3D transducer. The 3D is not a high-speed transducer, so I put it on the transom, but it's up. It's a slow-speed transducer. It doesn't read when you're going fast. But the through haul on the B60, I'm not sure on the unit. On the transducer varies. The B60 is a fairly inexpensive. I want to say $250, $260. But the best transducer, in my opinion, that you can buy is a through haul. And the B60 through haul is no different than an 1.5 inch fitting off your transom or underneath your boat. It's flat. It's flush. It just looks. It's that same. You just drill a hole. You're gonna push it through, and you're gonna take some 5200, and then you just screw the nut down, and then it's got a wire that comes out, and you just plug it in the unit. So the B60 is a good, inexpensive option. That's a great transducer. But I did notice going from an in-haul to a through-haul, pretty big difference on the read and the clarity. So that's a good point to bring on. I don't know, how do we get so sidetracked on bottom machines? I guess there's questions. But anyhow, it's